Looking cool, Joker!
Prepare yourself! Game! Richter, you don't belong in this world! Take this! It's time! Prepare yourself!
Hello everyone, it's me, THEMAN87, and I'm here today to give you some information on how to play Richter Belmont at a tournament level in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This video will be split into 5 parts: neutral, advantage state, disadvantage state, matchup advice, and my personal thoughts on the character. But before heading into this guide, you might be wondering, who is THEMAN87? Well, if you're asking this, you must not be educated very well. You should go back to school and get a degree like me, you fucking stupid asshole. Stop being disrespectful. Anyway, I am a professional Richter main in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I have several wins over top players such as Light, Lee, Steel Man, MVD and MK Leo. I am currently the best Smash Ultimate player in all of Africa, and I do this all with the fucking mid-tier. Regardless of your thoughts on Richter, you must admit that doing this all with such a fucking garbage character is pretty impressive. Now, let's get onto the guide. I hope you enjoy. Richter's neutral is very good in this game. He has 3 projectiles that all have good uses, and his forward tilt is very safe when spaced correctly. He has other mix-ups and tools that he can use in neutral, which I'll get into later. Let's talk about his special moves. First off, the axe. This move is pretty slow, as it comes out on frame 30, but when you combine it with his other projectiles where the opponent is conditioned to shield or jump, this move can be devastating. It does tons of shield damage, so your opponent will be panicking quite a bit, and if you get the right read, you can begin to capitalize on your advantage state. It can be a very useful anti-air move. Axe also has 3 different angles it can be sent at, depending on where you tilt the control stick. This can be useful in some situations. This move, however, should not be your main focus in neutral, as it's the laggiest special in his kit in terms of both startup and cooldown, making it quite the commitment. If your opponent shields or parries this move, you can actually land the punish if you react fast enough. At high percents, you can land a forward smash for the kill. You should remember this because in some situations, it can help you a lot. If your opponent shields this move, it's also possible to get a shield break if you land a forward smash as well. This is also very important. This move can also combo at low percents due to the ridiculous hit stun. Here's a few examples. Next up is one of the best moves in his arsenal, the cross. This is Richter's second best tool in neutral next to his forward tilt. This move covers an incredible amount of space as well as having a very long-lasting hitbox, being active from frame 19 to 64, and your opponent will be forced to choose one of 4 options, all of which can be punished. Shield, spot dodge, jump, or roll. Shield can be punished with a grab, spot dodge can be punished with a long-lasting move such as down tilt, jump can be punished with forward air or up B, and roll can be punished by the cross if they roll back or another option if they roll, and assuming you get the correct read. It can also be a very effective way of stopping approaches and helping Richter win neutral. Cross can also be a useful tool to edgeguard because this fucking retard Vendetta jumped into it when he could see it coming from a mile away, you stupid bitch. How did you get hit by that? This is why I beat you twice, dipshit. I've recently discovered 2 new techs with the cross which I'll go into detail shortly, but I want to go over a few more details first. Cross can only true combo into forward air at low %, but the returning hit can combo into almost anything. Here are some examples of what you can pull off. The cross can also be sent back to Richter if shielded or hit in any way by an opponent, whether reflected or physically attacked. Richter can also only have 1 cross out at a time, be aware of that. The first tech that I discovered with this move is called cross bouncing. This can be a way for Richter to force the opponent to come to him, which is what he wants. It involves Richter comping at the ledge and throwing the cross either at the wall or at the opponent. If done right, it can result in a successful gimp or an ST if the opponent overcommits, making it a very strong 2 if performed correctly. The second tech is called cross bait. Richter throws the cross in neutral when the opponent is somewhere off of the main ground. If the opponent comes over to him to try and attack, Richter shields and does uppercut. If the opponent has enough time to shield this, then the cross will hit them when they attempt to punish, which can sometimes turn the situation around in order for Richter to gain an advantage. Holy water is his final projectile I'll be going over in this section. Richter drops the move at a diagonal angle, and if it hits, Richter has a big opportunity to attack. This move can also cover rolls and allow for big punishes. This move in general is a godsend for follow-ups. Almost everything that Richter has can be comboed into out of holy water. Here are some setups that are possible with this move.
Take this! 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 Take this!
This move actually has a pretty noticeable difference from Simon's, because Richter's holy water has more of an aura presence due to it being blue. This affects something such as Alumra's Pikmin, which I'll get into later. Just be aware, this move can sometimes backfire on you, whether from the opponent catching it or if something clanks with it, meaning you can get punished instead, so be careful. It's also possible for the opponent to SDI the move, making some follow-ups that would normally work impossible. Uppercut is another really good move in neutral for one big reason. It's one of his best out-of-shield options. The move comes out on frame 6, meaning that any moves that is -6 or later can get punished by this move if Richter shields it, assuming they miss-space it. However, don't try to punish moves that are -5 or earlier, as it can backfire hard. Study your frame data so you'll know what is punishable with up B, and what isn't, so you don't die at a stupidly early percent for being a dumb fuck. This move can also kill at high percent, so keep that in mind. It can also be used as an anti-air. Forward tilt is his best option in neutral. Most Richter mains just spam this move in neutral because of how good it is. Although it comes out kinda slow, not coming out until frame 12, it has very good range and is very difficult to punish on shield once spaced correctly. If an opponent tries to punish this when you know they can't, try to punish accordingly. The move also sets up protect chases, which Richter is extremely good at since he can cover so many options. Dash attack is a good burst option of Richter's. It can cover a good amount of space and a lot of people may not be expecting it, so it can catch them off guard. It also does a good job at catching landings as well as with punishing. However, make sure not to spam it because it's -26 on shield, meaning it's very punishable. You can also get whiff punished by it yourself since it has 30 frames of cooldown afterwards. Neutral air is a good move of Richter's. It comes out on frame 8 and when done out of shield it comes out on frame 11, only 3 frames slower. It can also combo into a few moves such as forward air, back air, and even itself sometimes. You can also drag down during the move, allowing for more follow-ups, although not all of these are guaranteed and a lot of them require you to get the correct read in order to capitalize on advantage state. Down tilt is an interesting move. It has 2 hits that can low profile other certain attacks, but the thing is you can choose not to do the second hit if you want to mix up your opponent who thinks you will, or if you know you're just going to put yourself in a bad spot by doing so. The first hit is active from frame 7 to 23 and the second hit is active from frame 8 to 28. Both hits of this move are very unsafe on shield. The first hit is -31 and the second hit is -42 if done early and -28 if done late, so be careful not to spam it. Jab is an amazing move in neutral. The move comes out on frame 5, so it's super fast and difficult to react to. It's also an amazing move out of shield. There's actually a dangle with the whip which you can use out of this move. Most people think this is useless, but it's actually not. It can be a good mix-up when your opponent thinks they can punish you for mindlessly using jab. This can catch them off guard and sometimes actually put you in a good position. Forward air and back air are both amazing moves with this character. One interesting thing about these moves is that they can be angled up and down. Learning this is extremely important with this character. It will allow you to get punishes that you wouldn't get with just a normal forward or back air. I highly recommend practicing this a lot with Richter in training mode. Getting these angles down consistently is not an easy task, but you will need to learn and master it if you want to succeed with him. Trust me whenever I say, it's worth it. Be sure to be careful with misspacing it though. Some characters can low profile under it and punish you for just throwing it out randomly. I'm going to use this as a moment to call out bestness. You are a special kind of retard. Holy shit. How are you dying to Richter's forward air against riddles at 44%? You should have fucking knew something was coming. Why did you not use your double jump and dumbass air drift? You stupid motherfucker. Don't ever speak to me again. Grabs aren't something you should mindlessly fish for with Richter. The range on all of his grabs isn't that great and it isn't exactly the fastest grab either, and it's even slower on his dash and pivot grabs. However, when you do land one you can get some neat things out of it. At high percents, you can use your forward and back throws as kill throws and to gain stage control. Down throw is also a good combo throw. You can combo forward air out of it. Here's a 0 to death I got out of using this move in tournament once. Up throw can also be a useful combo throw since it can link into up air sometimes, but using it for frame traps is sometimes an even better option since you can get big damage out of doing so. Richter doesn't have that many out of shield options. His best ones consist of up B, neutral air, and jab. However, the reward he gets out of parrying moves is insane. He has so many options out of a parry that I can't even list all of them. Here's some examples of what he can do out of parry. Now that I've covered his neutral, let's get into his advantage state. Capitalizing on advantage state with Richter can be pretty difficult at times. This is due to his very poor mobility and recovery, which can make going for deep edge guards a massive commitment since if he gets hit even once off stage, 99% of the time he's dead. However, there are a number of options that you can do with Richter that can make being in disadvantage against him scary while also not committing hard offstage himself. These are his options. Axe is already a pretty good move in neutral, but in advantage state it is incredible. You can use this to bait out a lot of options and make your opponent feel scared and pressured to do something. It goes through the stage as well, so going low against it isn't an option. Down tilt and down smash are both useful moves for punishing the opponent for trying to get back to the stage unsafely. Abuse these as much as you can against people who do this. The first hit of down tilt can also two-frame opponents. It can be hard to pull off due to the weird hitbox, but landing it can be important. Practice it and stop being fucking lazy. Some recoveries don't snap to the ledge, or the player can choose to make their recovery go past the ledge. This can make it pretty easy to edge guard them with some moves. Remember earlier whenever I mentioned that you could use Richter's forward and back throws to gain stage control? Well, that's pretty much how you set up advantage state with this character. In order for the opponent to escape this advantage state, they have to get through Richter's ledge traps, which are among the strongest in the game. Getting past his ledge traps is a nightmare for anyone because he can cover so many options at once. Axe, cross, and holy water can all cover an insane amount of options. The biggest thing about this is that Richter doesn't have to go offstage for this at all. In order for the opponent to get around them, they have to find a really clutch opening and take it, but even then it isn't always possible to avoid. If you're at the ledge against Richter, you're probably going to take some damage. Sometimes you're probably better off just letting yourself die. Neutral air can set up for a lot of deadly combos in advantage state. This simple tech case I got with Nair led to death on Bowser at only 10%. tails and other string on DK that led into a kill from one forward throw where I used axe afterwards as a bait to lead into a kill. Uppercut is Richter's best out of shield option, but it's not what the move is best at. The move is absolutely amazing at ledge trapping. When your opponent rolls you can easily react and punish it with this move. It's frame 6, your opponent won't even be able to get a big punish because the cross will just hit them coming back and save you from any punish. The move is seriously extremely good at ledge trapping, and if you think otherwise, you clearly don't know anything about this character. Up tilt is another good move for applying pressure on shields and for getting a combo started. You can poke at shields with the move to try and make the opponent commit to something, or you can use it to punish an opponent making an unsafe landing or whatever. Figure it out yourself. So, you have lost neutral and now you are stuck in disadvantaged state. What can you do? Well, the first thing you can do is admit how much of a fucking stupid dipshit you are. You stupid bitch. Fucking buffoon. But next, you should try and plan your way to get back to neutral. Richter has a pretty terrible disadvantaged state overall. His mobility in the air is among the worst in the game, and his up B and feather recoveries are both easy to intercept. He also doesn't really have many ways to mix up his landing options either. This is definitely the hardest part about playing Richter, but you need to be prepared for trying to learn him at a higher level. The first thing you should do is not panic. This will just lead to you picking an unsafe option and getting punished even harder. If you don't try and force your way out of disadvantage, you'll be a lot more comfortable. One option a lot of Richter players use in disadvantage is down air. This move sends Richter straight down, and if lucky, he can land it on an opponent and combo from it into moves such as up B and forward air, basically turning the situation around. However, it's important to not spam it in disadvantage like this retard vendetta, as it has 26 frames of landing lag, and your opponent will eventually catch on and punish you hard. Jesus Christ vendetta, I've had to call you out twice in the same video? You are some dumbass, fucking idiot. Also, sometimes whenever an opponent is about to combo you, you can throw a cross, and if they dodge it and still combo you, the cross can come back and hit them out of it, effectively working as a combo breaker. Whenever Richter gets put off stage, the first thing a lot of people try to do is drift towards the ledge and use either forward or back air. This is super predictable and sometimes makes you easier to punish than if you just waited. That's what I want to talk about now, waiting. As shown here, once I'm put off stage, I use my double jump in place and don't drift, which catches the player off guard, allowing me to safely recover back to the stage. Small mix-ups like these can make a huge difference in disadvantage with this character. Another option you can choose is using drag down neutral air when you're in a bad spot, due to the hitbox covering his whole body, and having a lot of active frames. This option should only be used once in a while, because doing it too often to try and escape disadvantage will just make you predictable and easy to punish. You may not know this, but Richter's up air can actually snap to ledge as well. It's a bit of a small window, but it's a very useful way to surprise your opponent in situations where they're ready for you to up B. Do remember though that this is a rather small window, so don't try and rely on it. Those are just some of Richter's options in disadvantage. His disadvantage is bad, but it is very manageable too. Now let's get into a few matchup specific things. This section will go over some important information on some of Richter's matchups. I am not going to go over everyone, because we will be here all fucking day, since Nintendo really likes adding even more degenerate gimmicky characters as DLC, fucking cheap ass bitches. Anyway, here is some information you might need to know for certain matchups. Banjo and Kazooie is a very dumbass character. Their disadvantage state is actually very easy to abuse, because all of their options are easily reactable and can be punished by even a fucking fly. You still need to remain patient, but once you get that down and force them to burn their options, they get shut down very easily. Mashing out a down throw is also very important. This is so that you don't get hit by any motherfucking fake Twitter combos that are done on either retard, the CPU in training mode, or both. Just be aware, they may be able to shoot you with an egg offstage to get you very early if you recover poorly. The same thing can also happen with their up B, so keep these in mind. Joker is fucking garbage. If you lose to him, you're a fucking shit player. This is how I beat Temkate Guild. However, he should still be banned. Look at how amazing I am, defeating the real CEO of racism. Fuck outta here with that garbage. Anyway, you should be fine against guns offstage if you just save your jump. You can also use the projectiles to bait out his mock Huracan so you can get frame advantage for a punish, but be careful not to do it too often because if he reads it he can backfire and punish you hard. You can also two-frame his RC not B with down tilt. Axe can also intercept his RC not B if timed correctly. Shelf can switch into shield art in the middle of holy water because the devs are fucking stupid. Why did you give him the skimmicky mechanic? Fucking imbecile. Anyway, Vision fucking sucks. So if you can use the projectiles to bait it out you can get a proper punish, unlike what all the Shelf names are telling you on Twitter. Dusty Carpet is a fucking dickhead. Maybe don't use a Wi-Fi win to say that a matchup is winning when it isn't, stupid bitch. Snake is so fucking overrated, Jesus Christ. You call a character with such a shit disadvantage state the best character in the game. You make me laugh. Anyway, Snake is consistently in disadvantage state because Cross makes him drop grenades or sometimes blow them up so you can get an opening. Afterwards, you can just fucking fair or bear him and he will die stupidly early. Axe will also break Cypher so he can't recover low at all. If you think this matchup is losing for Richter, you need to get your eyes checked and stop being so fucking ignorant. Do you know how many clips I have of me bodying this poor fuck? Open your third eye. Terry's power wave will interfere with all of our projectiles, but we can still keep him out pretty well. Use projectiles in the air so he is committing more. Also, rising tackle does not snap to ledge, so you can get a free down tilt or forward smash every single time. Rosalina and Luma suck. If you throw a projectile, they can gravitational pull which leaves them wide open to a smash attack. Abuse this like your dad did to your mother before he went to the store to buy milk after she called the police. Pikachu was just going to back air you one time and you will die. Fucking bullshit character. Nerf this goddamn nib already. So, we're now on the final section of the guide. This is where I give my final thoughts on Richter in the current meta game, and give some final advice on using the character. Richter has some of the best neutral tools in the game. All of his projectiles are great ways at zoning and keeping the opponent out. Spaced forward and back airs and forward tilts are also good ways to keep people out. You want to set up some type of wall or barrier with Richter, and frustrate your opponent to the point where they have to approach. Don't just approach mindlessly yourself, or you'll lose neutral a lot. His advantage state, while not outstanding, is still very good because of his ledge traps. You still shouldn't go offstage much, only do it as a mix-up when your opponent isn't expecting it, or if it's against Snake. His disadvantage state is pretty terrible. His bad mobility makes getting back to the stage or escaping juggle situations really difficult, so you'll need to play very carefully. Remember to not panic and mix up your options regularly. His matchup spread is good overall too. He wins most matchups, goes even with a few characters, but some of his losing matchups are really hard. I don't recommend picking up a secondary, because no bitches allowed in the game. Before I end today's video, I'd like to premiere my first Richter montage titled, THEMAN Is King, which I'll play in a minute. Overall, I think Richter is a solid mid-tier, with potential to be high or even top tier once optimized. You just need to put in the effort. Now, you might be asking, who are some good Richter players to watch? Well, for starters, me. I'm the best Richter in the fucking world, nibbo. I already got a VOD of one of my sets up on my YouTube page, and I have more coming in the future. I'm so good that one of the commentators mistook riddles for me after he lost to Sam at Get On My Level 2019, so you know it's true.
Hey, Riddles angled the axe. Oh no, but offstage situation here. Gonna catch the double jump with the thunder once again, and Sam clutching.
Look at Esam.
He's so stressed.
He's sweating it, man. Yeah, that is a really stressful character.
Man, and
they're all clapping for Riddles, of course. You got to give it up for the man. He got top 16. I think solo Belmont. Like, I'm pretty sure. You got to give it up for the man. He got top 16. You got to give it up for the man. You got to give it up for the man.
Covering the platform in neutral air. Oh, this.
Another player you can watch is Shutan, who is the second best Richter in the world. Riddles also has some useful sets to watch from before he dropped the character. Nitro and T3 Dome are also good players to keep out for. A hidden boss is Steel Man. He got second place at UA3 3 months ago when he beat me in grand finals to reset the bracket. Keep an eye out for him. If he goes to America someday, he will fuck people up. That's it for my Richter guide. I hope you learned a lot from watching this video. Give me some feedback so I'll know what to do in the future. Thank you all so much for watching. Now, I present to you, my first ever montage, THEMAN Is King.
It's time.
New dude, dead you.
Prepare yourself.
mon mentor. EGIT, que proche du titre 2 et 1 et Zen Mat. Ichit, de mon 87 ADP à Nucléo, what the fuck.